is the existing spouse to go to the lawyer. Maybe if they have more properties, that can go under the probate and takes longer time. We own the sale today and we own the sale right now. That's what our system. Okay, for example, what happened? If we go to the lawyer, I'm going to explain to you both sides. Okay, guys. Okay, Kajan answer is right. Kajan, they are getting the power to get the full power for the property, but still, when they want to change the title to under one name, if the property with a mortgage, what will happen? The mortgage company will ask, can you qualify for this particular property to only under one person name? Understand? The property have only 500,000 mortgage. The existing spouse working only $40,000. She cannot be able to qualify for the 500,000 mortgage if they go to the lawyer to transfer the title to the one person name. Then what will happen is the best thing to do. If it is the property is a joint tenancy property, just the one person have the power, then we have to do the list the property under the existing spouse. We have to carefully see with the lawyer whether the joint tenancy or the tenancy in common. If it's the joint tenancy only, everything can work out. Okay, the joint tenancy property, you can list the property and you can put the clause saying that one, yes, the other party come only one person name, existing spouse name, and only existing spouse signature. Okay, and we can tell the lawyer to send the note for the closing the transaction. The legal rights. It takes 2 days. 2 days is enough for the lawyers to close the transaction. Even though the properties have the mortgage, even though the property have a mortgage, it doesn't matter because we are closing the transaction and the buyer is going to pay off the mortgage. In that case, there's no issues, guys. Again, this agent's answer: list the property first and inform the seller's lawyer or other existing spouse passed away and give the death certificate. And you don't need to do anything until the closing. The day of the closing, the lawyer can get the paperwork signed and they can pay off the bank. In that case, we don't need to discharge a mortgage or we don't need to transfer the mortgage under the one person name. Just dispose the property. All right. And second question, this question came to me by phone call. That particular salesperson listed the property. Property was in the reason I'm discussing you guys, one agent phone call is sharing it. It is good for everyone. Okay, after that, when I go to the Toronto Real Estate Board cases, then in that case, when I spend more time, more agents maybe join and they can hear the Toronto Real Estate Board cases. All right, other phone call questions came out. The salesperson, he listed the property in one area, and the listing, the market is a little bit slow, and then the property was in the market. And he received an offer with 3 or 4 people's name in the offer. The low offer he rejected. After that, when property sold, that the double-ended from our office agent gave the offer and he sold the property, and unfortunately, the previous agent called and asked what are the name of the people's came the offer and this and that question, and finally the property is sold. She gave the offer first with the 3 people's name and 2 people's name. The new offer came from our office agent, and we closed the transaction. Listing and selling was our office. It's almost like a multiple presentation transaction. Not the same agent. It's a different agent from our company. Now other agent find out and they try to sue for the arbitration. Or I didn't get the arbitration directly in my hand yet, but this is going to be a case. But based on my experience, I have a high chance to win this case, but I am not guaranteed because of the arbitration side. But we have some points, please. But then trying to say this case, try to sign the buyer agency agreement. Please, when you sign our listing agent, honest mistake. He didn't see the previous offer, low offer. He doesn't care, and whose name came to the offer, he didn't remember. And whenever the new offer came out, he sold it. There's nothing wrong. But at the same time, everybody, please have the buyer agency agreement signed. At least you make the day of the offer. Please check the buyer agency system and register it in the system. In that case, your hard-working commission, we don't need to lose it to somebody else. Okay, guys? And I didn't get much question today. Then I'm going to go through my Toronto Real Estate Board cases. Okay, everybody has to understand when we are signing the paperwork, either Toronto Real Estate Board, RICO, we are signing the fine print, so many things we are signing up. In that case, what we need to know, Toronto Real Estate Board having a Toronto Real Estate having a rules and regulations for the Toronto Real Estate Board. If the Toronto Real Estate Board, every little thing we have to follow by the Real Estate Board. If one agent, for example, the hard part for me, if the salespeople bring the listing, if the office check the land registry system, GIA house, and asking is a townhouse or land fees townhouse or condo townhouse? Every agent wanted to sell it faster. Every agent wanted to put it as a regular townhouse and sell it. Their argument going to be, okay, other agent also listing the same property. Why home life feature only strict? Okay, but the problem comes, who is the one facing it? As a broker record, and the company is the one facing the problem and writing the arbitration. Okay, I'm going to go through this case, guys. Okay, I'll carefully block the agent's name, but hope I'm not going to pronounce the agent's name for the confidential reason. Okay, this property is located in Brampton. This property, that property was listed. It's under the Geo warehouse. Under the Geo warehouse is a very important one. It's a free of charges they are giving us the Geo warehouse. Under the Geo warehouse, it is showing as a condo / row townhouse. The market condo / row townhouse, and the separate or private driveways. Okay, that's one of the tricky wording here now. Separate or private driveways, but it's marked here condo row townhouses. Our agent listed as freehold townhouse. Our agent listed as freehold townhouse. And the property was in the market. The interesting part here. Bear with me just 30 seconds, guys. Yeah, from the beginning, he listed as row townhouse. If he put it as a condo townhouse and change it to row townhouse, that's a more serious violation. Okay, he listed that row townhouse, and the property was in the market 100 days and sold after the property sold. After property sold, Toronto Real Estate Board is very strict now. 2 weeks ago, I went to the same seminar. Type of the property and very carefully look at it: freehold, condo, or land fees. We had to separate it differently. And someone for this one, Toronto Real Estate Board didn't find themselves. Someone complained for this property. Maybe the other real estate agent. The complaint, he sent it to Toronto Real Estate Board. Complaint at TRREB.com. They're not saying who is the salesperson name who complained. The complaint, I'm going to read the complaint for you guys because you need to know this one. Hi there. As far as I understand, when we list the property, we need to use the form, freehold form 290 and the condo form 291. However, I found that use for this particular property listed under the condo townhouse listed under freehold and is sold. Can you verify this one? This one of the salesperson, Toronto Real Estate Board didn't find themselves. One of the salesperson, the neighborhood salesperson, maybe this is in Brampton. The neighborhood salesperson complained to Toronto Real Estate Board. Then the Toronto Real Estate Board sent the arbitration. The property sold on July, and the Toronto Real Estate Board sent the Toronto Real Estate Board sent after 2 weeks. Toronto Real Estate Board sent the allegation statement to the office as well as the listing salesperson. The listing clarification is incorrect. Listing clarification is incorrect. MLS listing amended document attached is invalid, incomplete, and inaccurate because of the property type. And listing clarification has been published in the websites. That's been Toronto Real Estate Board MLS listing. Go to realtor.ca and everywhere. Different website. That's been advertisement standard. This property clarifying as a different category under the public records, and the allegation statements are pages and pages and pages. And we spend the time. Our office, some cases, Toronto Real Estate Board arbitration. If it's a commission issues between other agent, I advise to go to the lawyers, because in case we lose the case, I don't want to get in bad intention with the salespeople. Then I ask them to go to the lawyers because the money involved. In regular cases, we spend time. 1 or 2 appointments with the salesperson and the content. They spend the time and we write it. That's we spend over 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours time for the research and everything. And we had to send all the documents. The reason I'm telling you guys, everybody need to understand all the documents. We had to send it to Toronto Real Estate Board, giving some reason. Then we gave the reason. All the listing was, they listed all everybody was listed the property in that area, and the previously how many listing came out. And do you want to say anything about this one?
Yeah, no, like this is a very important topic that Salvana just brought up, because we've seen this in the past and we're seeing it quite frequent right now. Listing it under the wrong classification. I think it's safe to say that we all think that if a property is put under a freehold category, you might get more views on that property, probably better pricing. We might all have many reasons of why we would probably put it on freehold instead of actually a condo townhouse, right? But we have to make sure the classification is correct, because even if Toronto Real Estate Board doesn't catch it, just like how Salvana mentioned, there is going to be someone else, a neighborhood realtor in that area, that's going to be ready to complain regarding this. And that's exactly what happened to this agent. Again, it's quite easy to mix it up, but you got to make sure that you're putting under the right classification. Whenever the RICO, or sorry, in this case, TRREB, finds out about it, they advise the agent of this is what the problem is, and to provide a defense. What's your reasoning for putting it under this classification? And in this case, there really is no defense. If you look at Geo Warehouse, if you look at MPAC, it tells you specifically what it is. In this case, the agent's defense was, well, many other people listed it like this. The property was previously listed like this, so I just followed it. That is not a defense. And now that agent is liable for a fine of $2,700. So regardless of what you feel and what the sales tactic is or what the sellers want to do, you got to abide by the rules and regulations put forward by the board. And if you have any questions before you do list a property, bring it up to us and we'll help you answer that to make sure it gets listed properly and you're using the right forms. Again, this is not just the first scenario. We had many of this in the past. And unfortunately, we've written many arguments just like this for a lot more going in the future. So right now, TRREB, Salvana is going to be speaking about a few more other cases, but TRREB is taking this very, very seriously, and they're not letting this slide as easy. So do expect fines, not just a warning or a course if you are making any mistakes. Sorry, there you go, Uncle.
Thank you, Hannah, because you are the one spending the time and write these ones, and you spend your time with the 1 or 2 hours and collect the information from the office and the salesperson and everything, and you are writing down. Other officers, they're telling them you are independent agent, you go to the lawyers or any paralegals and write the cases. And here you are sitting and spending hours and hours and writing and sending out. Even one agent didn't send out on time, and you send yourself to the RICO. I remember that one. Before midnight, you send it out for not to miss the deadlines. Guys, please be careful. I know we are sales, we want to sell it, but at the same time we have to do it right. Otherwise the penalty, 2 penalties, one for you, one for the office. You are independent contractor, office not going to pay for your fault, and you had to pay for the full penalty for whatever the mistakes you make. This particular case, 2,700. But as for my experience running the real estate brokerages, you guys know, 20 years, this is the time fees are going to be very high. Fees are going to be very high. This is the time. I'm going to go through some cases, guys. Another case, and that's also I received Thursday. We received this one Thursday too. The answer we received Thursday. This has happened. This has happened. What happened? The agent list the property not too far in Oshawa only. The agent lists the property in Oshawa, and he sold the property. He sold the property in April 28. He sold the property, and after he sold the property, April 28, and he didn't change anything. I mean, he didn't change the sales sign to sold sign. He didn't change it. Sorry, I just want to make it right now, the right dates. Otherwise, I don't want to mislead you guys. No, sorry, the property sold. The closing date was April. The property sold for February. February, say, third week of February. And March, third week. After 4 weeks, not to remove the board, not to put the sold sign. After 4 weeks, that the property value is close to over 1.5 million. Guys, we are real estate agents. We have to work on it. All right. Anyway, so again, somebody complained. This is also came from the complaint. Listed below the somebody sent the listing and saying that one hi. This property, please find the attached sold listing. This property is supposed to be marked as sold, and the sale sign still there as for sale until this morning, after 4 weeks time. And Toronto Real Estate Board asked, and they're sending the list of things, saying that one to us property for the office side, send us a status of the listing update and detailed listing, including the view history and when the photograph was taken for the sale sign, and so many questions. And they're sending out the list of rules. What was missing here because of the sale sign didn't remove. The R421, that's the one we mostly use. Under the R421 MLS, when the property with MLS, sign has to be reported to sold firm. The member shall, within 2 days, 2 TRREB business days, or he has to change it to sold sign, from sales sign to sold sign, or remove the sales sign within after 48 hours, because the public's looking the sales sign. That's misleading their time. They are looking, they don't know what's the problem. The real estate agent knows property sold, and the regular public doesn't know. They may think the house for sale, and they spend the time and calling the office and everything. Don't waste somebody's time. They have to remove it. Honestly, some municipalities are very strict. Toronto Real Estate Board didn't say you have to remove within 2 days' time. They didn't say that one. We are lucky, but there are some municipalities like Brampton, I can say, you have to remove it within certain days, 5 days, say 5 days. If your sale sign, even though you put sold, you leave it more than 5 days. That's distracting the public when they drive, because they are looking that side. They don't want that to happen. You are a real estate agent, you sold it for the advertisement purpose, you can leave it longer. But at the same time, some municipality doesn't allow. But the Toronto Real Estate Board MLS regulation doesn't say is you have to remove it. Only thing they're saying, at least put the sold sign. At least put the sold sign or else remove it. Yes, this particular salesperson paying $900 fine. $900 fine. This has happened this week. This happened. And then we have so many other cases. There are so many other cases we went through, the similar cases, but as I said, clarification type. And at least how many clarification cases you wrote? 5, 6?
In the last 1 month, yes, yeah, this month probably.
Yeah, and I want to mention to you guys other one is didn't come as a case. I blocked it, that one, and I was going to go through one case. I want to go through the one case, not the clarification type, not the Toronto Real Estate Board side. That's the same thing, Toronto Real Estate Board side. One of our salesperson is a little bit older case, but something happened 2 months ago. That's the reason I'm bringing this back. You guys might know this one. I discussed this one before. Anyway, one salesperson, he lists the property. He wanted to sell the property, then only he can get the mortgage for the new house. He was living one property and he bought other property, and he wanted to list the property for sale, and the property didn't sell. This happened actually, guys, 2017, the market falls. The reason I'm bringing up now, similar case happened now. I stop it before go to the Toronto Real Estate Board. Then what happened? He listed the property for sale, didn't go through. Then he listed the property for lease, and he changed the lease, and they have changed a different agent's name and this and that in our office. Finally, what he said, for the mortgage purpose, he listed the property. I believe it's a mortgage purpose. I can say publicly without having 100% evidence. He listed the property with another company salesperson, his good friend, from another company salesperson, Remax, say for example, and he listed the property, and he bring the deposit to saving ourselves. He bring the deposit, but these kind of deals, the deposit, regular deposit, 50,000 and 100,000 deposit, sometimes 2 million properties or 1.5 million property. This deposit only $10,000 deposit under the home line name, under his friend with the different company salesperson, and we put sole firm. After we put sole firm, our agent got the mortgage, I believe. And after 1 month, after the closing date and everything passed by, and they bring the mutual release. And officially, our office, nothing we can do. One agent listing company was different company, buying company was different company. Listing company was our office, and buying company was different company, and everything is done. And they bring the mutual release, and the money went to the buyer or seller, doesn't matter, it's gone already. But Toronto Real Estate Board, somebody complained to Toronto Real Estate Board. This is some fishy is going on, either mortgage broker or mortgage company or the bank. We don't know whoever it is. We got the letter from Toronto Real Estate Board. At the Toronto Real Estate Board, we give all the documentation. This is 2 different companies involved. They bring the mutual release, and we gave the money back. But they charge us. Reason, we gave the mutual release, fine. We are not supporting for any other violation, 100% fine. But at the same time, after mutual release, but according to the seller or buyer got the money, that's mean our office is cancelled the deal. They said we had to send the forms to remove the sold price from the particular listing. We got the charge only $250 or $300 fine for us for unnecessary. But happened very interestingly. One of the mortgage broker called me month ago, and he was asking the mortgage. He was asking the mortgage, the private mortgage to me through the Future Senate. Then I started to inquire more. The funny part, our office agent, one per agent listed. Previously, 2 people listed. After that, he removed 1 person name. Other agent, only one agent name was there. Other agent put the listing, and he gave the deposit only $3,000. According to RICO, I can refuse it if somebody come with a lower deposit and property sold. Then when he asked, I suspected. Then I dig the files and everything. See, I talked to him very straightforward. This is going to be it's a fraud transaction. It's a fraud transaction for the mortgage purpose. But the worst part, what they did the bridge mortgage too. They did the bridge mortgage based on the property sold file. I said, before go to the case and you guys lose a license, immediately pay the bridge and get out from this transaction, leave the mutual release. Finally, the part I want to mention, the listing, the bank draft, $3,000 came from the listing salesperson. Is the one went to the bank and got the draft. Clearly saying, I told them, you guys are in the age to lose a license now. If somebody complains, somebody find out, you guys are in the age to lose a license. Immediately, I asked them to they borrow the money and cancel everything and see in the mutual release and everything. I saved them. I saw it first. Guys. Please be careful on certain things whenever you do, because we have to be very careful. Otherwise we will run into trouble.
Is there any minimum? Is there any minimum for deposit? Or
there's no minimum deposit because we are signing with a good faith. When we sign with a good faith, there is no minimum deposit. But 95 I started real estate, guys. Going the whole stories. Even I have one of the listing from our office agent right now. He bought the property with only $1,000 deposit. I still have the papers for the memories. What I'm trying to say, there is no minimum involved, but there are the market strategy is there. And at the same time, I want to go through two more important things. Maybe not our all all our salespeople didn't see this one. Yesterday, Sarah posted this. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for posting this message to our the home day group. Anyway, I am following this website. If you guys want to write it down, Ontario Real Estate Legal Discussion Group. In the Facebook, please, if you don't know this name, write it again, write it down. Ontario Real Estate Legal Discussion Group is one of the very good Facebook group. Everybody has to read this one, because you will get lots of information. I'm going to go through two things from this Ontario Real Estate Legal Discussion Group. Sarah, very nice you posted to the publicly for everybody. This one,
no problem.
What is this case? What is this case is what the message is here. The day they made the offer with $1,050,000. Made the offer. Of course, it's unconditional offers. And the next day, what happened? It's as usual thing. So buyer didn't give the deposit. And buyer missing the deposit. Salesperson cannot do anything anyway. Then what happened? The seller went and sued the buyer. Seller was waiting under the property sale. After the property sold for $910,000. $910,000 after the property sold for. Then he went and filed the lawsuit. And the based on the lawsuit, the different pricing, the interesting part, the different pricing, $1,050,000 minus 910, only around $140,000. They filed the lawsuit, and Sarah, the particular case, the seller paid for the lawyer only $3,674.22, but the lawyer got the money for the seller $140,866.11. The different price is $140,000. The judgment came $140,866.11. This is a very important one. Everybody has to look at it, because the judgment based on the interest cost and everything for the seller side. If some agents, the problem is not the clients. Even some agents argue with me. There's no deposit. There's no deal. Guys, please educate yourself. Please, whoever is there today is less agents. Last week we had over 100, only 70 people, but all these 70 are more important for me than who are not participating. Go to this Facebook group, Ontario Real Estate Legal Discussion Group, and read what are the question and answers coming up to everyday basis. That will give you some understanding. Not all the sellers are educated. Not all the sellers want to go back and sue somebody else. But if we are in the field, we are signing the papers under the seal. We are signing the legal documents, guys. This can put us in big trouble. This other one is very interesting case. Honestly, this is interesting to me. I don't mind. I'm a person. I sit in the classroom. I don't hide anything. My answer was different than the comment for this case. I was thinking it's a different answer, guys. I'm not shy to say this one. We are not 100% right for anything, right? Okay. But this particular case, what happened? Not a case actually. It's a comment from the lawyer's comment. You can go. You can go and see this one too when you go there. What happened? No. This one is not under the same website. It's a different website under similar category. Ontario Real Estate Legal Discussion Group dash listings. Dash listings. You go to that group, the subgroup of this one. Anyway, the discussion is that we are the sellers. We have accepted the conditional offer, first refusal on the sale of the purchase property, SPP clause. Sale of the first property with an expiry date of September, say certain date. The buyer, in my language, the buyer gave the offer to the seller saying that one, I listed my property. If I sell the property only, I'll buy your house. That's called first refusal with the sale of purchases property, SPP. The buyer have sold the property and marked is sold firm in MLS. That's been buyer put the clause saying that one, if I sell the property XYZ property in the certain street, if I sell the property before September 15, I will buy your property. That's a condition. This is a conditional offer. Okay, the conditional offer. But the buyer sold the property. Publicly, everybody can see it. The property was sold. Okay. But happened, the buyer salesperson, he has to waive it or he has to put the note of the what do you call other one, fulfillment paper. Instead of sending those two, what he did, he's sending the amendment. He sent the amendment saying that because his intention, maybe the market price went down, this and that, and he want to remove the condition, guys. Okay, we will remove the condition in two ways: either waive it or make an amendment. Okay, then putting other changes there. And here's the interesting part: the buyer have provided an amendment to remove the condition and decrease the price by 50,000. The seller do not want to accept the price reduction and will allow amendment to expire. Seller didn't do anything. Seller didn't send back the amendment. Okay, what do you guys think about this one? In a basic knowledge, we could say the offer is conditional by the buyer. The condition is not fulfilled. They didn't send the waiver of fulfillment. But in particular case, lawyers' comments are the fulfillment and amendment. They send amendment, but at the same time, that's all the condition already fulfilled automatically because the property sold and the public records and the MLS showing sold. Even though buyer not, I was wrong this one. I was thinking definitely they had to send a waiver, otherwise the deal is null and void. That's the one. But according to this discussion with the lawyers, legal lawyers and legal group saying that one, this particular property is sold, the amendment is not valid because even though they don't seller doesn't sign the amendment and buyer doesn't give the fulfillment, it's already fulfilled. In that case, the seller have the right to sue the buyer if they don't close the transaction. Hope you understand this one too. The offer came with the SPP clause saying that one, buyer will firm up the transaction on the September 15 if they sell their property. The property sold and updated in the MLS system. The buyer didn't send a waiver or fulfillment, but instead of that one, the buyer's agent send the amendment saying that one 50,000 price reduction and 50,000 price reduction and removing the clauses. And the seller's point of view, seller saying, even though they don't send the amendment, they don't send the waiver of fulfillment, the clause is fulfilled by the publicly because the property is sold already. I was thinking a different way, but we had to send the waiver. But according to the legal discussion group, lawyers and everybody saying, seller, the property is firm, buyer has to buy it. If the buyer doesn't buy this property, very interesting. The buyer doesn't buy it, the seller has the rights to take it to the courts. Guys, every little thing careful. Mostly the agent sending the amendment on the last day. No, you have to send the amendment and get the extension before that one. Okay, I'll go through right now. If you have the questions are more important rather than I send the message, I'm going to go through the regular agreement of purchase and sale and the explanation. But if you have any question, ask me the questions. We can discuss that one and before I go to the regular basic materials.
I have a quick question. So somebody puts in a condition for condition, like a normal condition for inspection. But something happens and they want to come out of the deal. And if you don't send the waiver or fulfillment, would that be considered like out of the deal?
Yeah, because there are two different conditions. This SPP condition, sale of the property sold is publicly, everybody know the property is sold. That's the reason is automatically the lawyer saying this fulfilled. But the inspection clause also will serve as a weak clause. Inspection clause, you already bought the property. Inspection clause, what our agent has to understand, not the clients, not the buyers. Inspections only for whatever you don't see to your eyes, your client doesn't see to your eyes. The professionals coming and seeing is called inspection, professional inspection. For example, moisture on the wall. You don't see it, I don't see it. Inspector bring the meters and seeing the moisture is here, then that's mean minor cracks might be in the basement. One example. Under the roof, under the roof shape is changing it. Roof leakage, furnace, anything can be, whatever. For example, you are walking in, the front door glass is a crack. Some agents are putting that one in the inspection. Inspector can put it in. Inspector getting the money from you, the agents and all the clients, and he need to fill out the forms, and he can put every little thing, save his job. But doesn't mean we can ask other person. One tiles crack in the 30 years old house, when you walk in, one tile crack, that doesn't come under inspection. The windows, minor crack in the window, everybody can see it. Your physical eyes without the inspector, that doesn't come under the inspection. Whatever you don't see it, but your question is different. I understand your question. Inspection clause is a weak clause. Inspection clause, if you send out the inspection clause, if the seller, this is the judgment. I went to the cases, okay? I went to the cases in my life. Inspection clause, they don't get a deposit. When I went to the case, the judge said, if the seller willing to repair the remedies, if the seller not willing to give, yes, that works. That's a problem. If the seller willing to give the remedy, buyer cannot get out from the transaction because you have wasted somebody's time. If you want to put the condition, yes. If you want to put certain things, if a 20 years old house, you are buying it. Of course, we have some 20 years old problem in the house. But at the same time, if it is a major deficiencies, by the certified home inspector. Some of the inspectors are not certified. You have to verify who's the inspector certified and who is the inspector not certified if you want to take it to the courts. But if the condition is not fulfilled or waived, there's no deal. But at the same time, seller have the rights to not to give you back the deposit. I would say, I'm not making up the stories. So sorry, guys, please believe me. I would say at least around 10 to 15 deals about this one. We didn't get back the deposit because the seller was mad. Who get the money? The money went to RICO, unclaimed fund. Seller doesn't want to give back because of seller mad with the buyer because of purposely you put the inspection and getting out of the transaction. But mortgage condition is different. Without mortgage, you can't close the house. But still, mortgage condition, if anything happened, if you're saying I don't get the mortgages, but the seller has the rights to ask you 2 different mortgage brokers. If you go to the courts, they can go to the other level and pull the credit bureau with the permission and ask whether you really applied or not. But I never seen the cases like that. But you had to get the letter from the 2 mortgage brokers saying that one, they applied for the mortgage, they try hard for the mortgage, they didn't get the mortgage. That's what is important because our mortgage clauses and the inspection clauses are very lenient languages we are writing out. For example, mortgage clause saying that one, offer is conditional upon buyer arranging satisfactory financing. Satisfactory to who? Satisfactory financing within 5 days, excluding Saturday and Sunday and holidays, of acceptance of this offer. This particular case, clause, the particular clause for the mortgage clause, guys, what is showing now? What is showing right now is nothing to say how much is the down payment. Whether 1 million property, you can have only 5% down payment. You want to satisfy with yourself, and you can go with only 1% name. Your income is only $60,000. Nothing saying that is a clause, but this is a clause. Toronto Real Estate Board we are using it is an American clauses. We are using it because we are doing the transaction very bulky. Believe me or not, the time we started, I'm talking about 95, 96, 95 years started, 96, 97. Especially Toronto Real Estate Board was good even that time. Toronto agent was very reasonable. Even they just move to Oshawa, only few kilometers away. Mortgage clause supposed to be the old clause system. You can see it. This offer is conditional upon the subject. I don't have that particular clause to read you, but I can tell you by memory. Put the 20% down payment, the interest rate below 5%, something like that. Then whenever say 20% down payment, and we had to put it in the number. If it is 1 million property, we had to put it in 200,000. If it is 600, those days 400,000 property, we had to put it in a dollar value. Minimum how much we are going to put it in. And we had to change the clauses just back and forth, but still that clause is valid for the courts. This clause offers conditional upon satisfactory financing. Very hard for the court cases. Okay, Gulsar, your question, answering your question, because this is the part I want to teach today for you guys. In that case, I spend more time. Your condition, I'm going to read the inspection condition. Offer is conditional upon buyer arranging sorry, the offer is conditional upon inspection of the subject property by a certified home inspector. Certified home inspector word is there. For deficiencies that obtaining the report satisfactory to the buyer own expenses, but not major deficiencies. I purposely not to put in the clause major deficiencies. If I put in the clause in the office major deficiencies, minor deficiencies, nothing you can do. That's the reason. That's the reason. Even though we have all the knowledge and lawyers' advice and everything, we are still using the basic clauses, taking advantage of us. But if you are a listing agent, if we are getting the offer from other company, just to make sure the home inspector certified and the major deficiencies. Okay, just answer your question, Gul sir. The inspection clause is a weak clause. The seller willing to help. You are the buyer side. I assume you are the buyer side. Seller willing to give some remedies. For example, I know you're ready to talk. Just give me 1 minute. If it is a furnace, for example, they're selling 20 years house. You don't have to replace the new furnace according to the courts. You know they are buying the 20 years old property. How can you expect the new furnace? Then you go and buy a new property. Working condition furnace. At least you have to pay 2 years insurance. But the furnace is going to work continuously 2 years, or else at least 50% of the money deduction of the used furnace. Something like that. Okay, you can go and ask me the question. Your concern.
Thank you. That's it. That actually you answered pretty well. Thank you so much. I got more information.
I saw you unmute, then I was thinking you have.
No, I just wanted to say thank you because you were pretty much covering everything. Thank you.
Perfect. Anybody have any other question, guys? The questions are very important for our discussions.
Good morning, Salman.
Good morning. Oh, Rafael, you are here. This is going to be good. Some comment. Go ahead.
No. I just want to touch on what you said about the clauses of listing the right property in the right place. But also putting on the MLS about what I hear also most of the time is people listing illegal basements as basements with rental income and getting into.
Amazing. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to know whether you got any, because I have had a few where that's the issue. The buyer, after buying, is suing the listing agent, saying you listed a property with rental income and now it's not a legal rental income. And the problem here was I'm acting for the listing agent, but the buyer agent also has a great responsibility to verify that it is a legal basement. He cannot wash away and say, oh, the listing agent said so, I bought it that way, right? So that's something that is happening right now also. So I don't know what's your position on that.
Thank you, Rafael. This is the important one. You bring it up to the table. This one is very good. Yes, guys. Whenever you're putting the listing, you have to be careful whether it's a legal basement and getting the extra income. That's not illegal. Okay. For example, based on the experience, Rafael is a legal man. I'm a businessman. Okay. For a regular manners. So even though government understand everybody everybody renting the basement and everything, they don't want to stop you guys renting out until any problem comes. If the government want to stop you guys, they can send the fabricator or anybody else to knock the basement and see who is someone living. Every time they can see it. And if it's an illegal basement, they have the rights to stop completely. But what will happen? Housing problem arise. Now we are short of houses right now. And short of houses right now, and mortgage interest going up. The owners cannot be able to pay. They're getting some extra income. But that's one supposed to come under the legal side as a shared accommodation. Rafael, you can guide me, okay? I want you to guide me this one because you are the expert on this topic. I'm only running the office. You are the expert for this one. Okay. If somebody are renting the basement, you cannot show as a legal apartment. And 2 kitchens is not allowed. And shared accommodation. The shared accommodation is legal. I am talking about the CRA point of view. Shared accommodation is legal. In this case, you want to share the money for your mortgage and everything. You can keep it without the kitchen. But advertising, you can get maybe you can put potential basement apartment may give you this money. That's a different. The future you can rent out. But the basement income, how much the basement is 100% illegal. Am I right, Rafael?
Yeah, it's better not to mention anything about income or rental income or anything like that on paper or on MLS, right? Because we are misguiding the other person to say it's legal, right? Unless it's a legal basement apartment. And then it could be converted into a legal apartment, maybe a better way of saying it, right? Otherwise, keep it low, keep it off the record, and just say that, it's now being rented, but we don't know whether it's legal or not. You can continue with the same tenant, or the city might come. So disclosure. Once you have disclosed to the other side that even in an email saying we are not guaranteeing the legality of the basement, at least you have covered yourself, right? That's the important thing. As long on the agreement of purchase and sale, finally, when you're doing the APS, right on the APS, the seller does not warrant the legality of the basement apartment. One line on the agreement of purchase and sale on the schedule will cover the seller from any future legal liabilities. That's what I'm saying. Put it somewhere so that you have told the other side that's what it is.
Thanks, Rafael. Okay, that's one going to cover us at least 90% of the legality, right?
Yes, that will, at least the judge will say the other side told you already, and you had the opportunity to buy it or not buy it.
Thank you. In one point, maybe the same. Kanna want to say something, maybe.
Yeah, just a deal that I'm working on right now. It's a $3 million Toronto property with it's an 8-plex. And I've been working on the deal for some time. It was supposed to close in August. And what's happened so far is the lender has requested a fire inspection of the unit. And and we had a fire inspection, which was done in early 2020 before COVID hit. And then, of course, the lender was like, no, I need something more recent. So I want you guys to have someone go in. And at the end, what they had was they had the fire marshals, Toronto Fire Department, go in to do the inspection. And they found out that many things were not upgraded. Many of the smoke detectors, carbon monoxide sensors were not up to par. And the buyers were ready to close, lenders were ready to close. And in this case, the sellers ended up reducing the price from 3 million. The negotiations are still taking place because the sellers now have to make sure they have a legal, they're legally in line with what the codes are before they sell the property to the new owners. They have their own internal agreements based on that. But before, they were fined by the city for not having the right type of dwelling. They're now going back, reducing the price to make sure the buyers are still satisfied and still willing to buy the property, and push the closing even further to approximately October end. It's going to be to get it done. So it's interesting that you say that because so sometimes sellers feel like they're in the right, but at the same time, when they find out that they have flaws, they always go back.
Kanna, in the discussion, something come to your mind. When you started real estate, you sold the property to Mano for the rental, for the student housing.
Correct.
Oshawa.
Yes.
You went to England after that. When the time he come to sell the property, the inspectors came and we talk about so many other things for that particular property, and you involved for that one. You remember?
Exactly. So even for that one, yes, when the seller sold the property, there were so many infractions based on the fire code. And at that time, I think it was a property in Durham region. I believe it was Oshawa. And when the Oshawa Fire Department looked at the property, they're like, yes, there's many infractions. And at the end of the day, they had to sell it in accordance to law. So.
Okay, guys, I want to bring one more thing about the same topic, because it's nothing to do with our agent, but sometime I get the free times, I read the RICO cases. When I read the RICO cases, I saw this one, not recently, but the same topic. As a listing agent, one of the famous listing agent in Durham region, they listed the property. Then he put the non-recoverable status in the listing, but he marked the listing in the broker comment rather than the client comment. You understand what I'm talking about? In the listing, he marked it the non-recoverable status of the basement apartment, and that particular word he put it under the broker command under the instead of the client one. And one walk-in client came and bought the property. During the time of the offer purchase sale agreement, he forgot to mention the non-recoverable status of the basement apartment in the offer. But as like now Raphael said that one, make sure to put it in the offer. And under the RICO case, what happened? Sorry guys, 1 minute. Under the RICO case, what happened? The agent was arguing to RICO. They complained to RICO. Agent was saying, I already listed in my advertisement. Is a MLS is an advertisement until it's come as a schedule, right? Okay, if I put it in my advertisement under the MLS, is a non-recoverable status of the basement apartment. But the the client argued, they seen it from realtor.ca. The realtor.ca doesn't show the broker comment. In that case, they haven't seen that one. They bought the property. They was until the problem come, they was thinking this is the legal apartment. But when you list the property, if you want to put anything, please think about broker column doesn't go to the regular websites. If you double in the trunk, just go ahead, Selva. Yes.
Yeah, the retrofit status is something that we shouldn't use at all, because what happened was during the Bob Ray time, we had a housing crisis, and he wanted to legalize a lot of basements. So he brought in a legislation where if you do some work with the electrical thing, then they were grandfathered to become legal basement apartments. That's when the retrofit status came. That is gone. It's no more in existence. So right now, when you want to legalize a basement, you need 3 permits. One is the building permit, one is the electrical permit, and one is the fire and safety permit. So if you don't have those 3, Toronto doesn't issue a legalized basement certificate. But if you have those 3 permits, then your basement becomes legal and you can rent it out. But the retrofit was something Bob Ray brought it, and it was a temporary interim measure. But for some reason, we are still using that retrofit status. So we shouldn't be using that, I think, as far as my knowledge is concerned. But if you don't have these 3 permits, do not legalize it, because a tenant, like there are cases where tenants come and then they complain, oh, I am occupying a illegal basement. Oh, the noise is coming up. Like recently I had a case in Ajax where they complained about noise. And the first thing I asked the landlord, did you legalize the basement? And he said, yes. And then he didn't have any, because when he bought it, nobody gave him the permit. So I told him, go to the city and get it. And Ajax City gave him. And the Ajax City, when we read the permits, it says it has this, what do you call that, soundproof barriers in the building construction. So we were able to use it at the landlord and tenant board to tell the board this noise complaint is invalid because the landlord built the basement apartment according to the noise barriers and everything else. So the tenant couldn't get any money out of it. So it's better if you, even if the seller says it's a legal basement, get the permits, keep it for yourself, because the tenants always complain afterwards. And I think it is better to use anything about the basement unless the basement is a legal basement.
Thanks, Selva. Especially the tenants don't complain after they get the argument with the landlord. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Selvana?
Yeah.
I have a question on when we prepare the agreement of purchase sale, shall we put the appraisal clause in that for the safe side? For an example, we put the offer for the 1,700. The bank give the appraisal 1,500. So do you have any clause for that?
You can put the clause, nothing going to limit any clauses or conditions, any conditions. But if you put as a clause, if you have put as a, the word you said you want to put as a clause, just if you put a clause, that's not a condition. That clause is going to say, in that case, that clause is going to say some remedies too. For example, you are buying the property for $1 million and you're saying if any appraisal come less than 900,000, seller reduce the price, something like that. They don't accept that one. You can put it. Yes, answer is yes. Any condition or any clause in the purchase sale agreement, you can put it in. But what is the other party going to do? That's an important part. Appraisal condition you can put, but it's good to put as a, instead of a clause, you can put as a condition. But the appraisal condition also has to go with mortgage condition time period. If you put anything more than the regular residential side, if you put anything more than 5 days, you're not going to get it. The other company agents not going to give you. And maybe if the seller is desperate, the market is a balanced market right now. In that case, if you want to put 10 days condition, the house doesn't sell for 100 days, it's sitting in the market, and you want to put 10 days condition, just why not? You can do those one. Any condition you can put it in as long as both party agrees. I'm not stopping you, but at the same time, my side, at least get the mortgage approval, firm approval. At least, okay, for example, the two different ways the mortgage brokers are handling it, the files. If you go to the mortgage brokers, if they send the application right away, and the same day they are requesting the appraisal, within 3 days, 4 days before your mortgage period ending, you get the appraisal report automatically with the mortgage condition. But what happening, the mortgage companies, what happening, they only pull the credit and they're moving to different places. If the buyer, I know I am speaking the publics, guys, don't record it. If the mortgage broker using the different job letters or different updates or anything, what they're going to do? They don't want to send the mortgage application under the last minute. They are keeping and sending the mortgage application a week ago. Even that's happening because they don't want to give them more time to verify certain things. If you go to the regular bank, it's a legitimate deals. Just you can ask them to send the appraisal right now. In that case, you can get it. Answer your question. Just you can do the appraisal condition in the purchase sale agreement. Anything you want.
Thank you. Yeah.
Any question, guys? Any discussion?
I have another question, Silvana. There is a difference between semi-detached and link. Sometimes these links are just links between the two garages or something. Those are like considered as link in a geo warehouse, but sometimes they're classified as a semi-detaches. Are those okay, or they are the same category which we discussed before?
It's a very good question. What happened one of the time link, even Toronto Real Estate Board took out the category as link, and there's no link was there. Then that's been, everybody want to put it as a detached or semi-detached, and they put it back again as a link. What happened, also, when it's come to link houses, in the registry system, I mean, if you go to the lawyers and you see the original deed, I'm not talking about the geo warehouse or impact report. If you look at the real deed, link houses are going to show as a semi-detached houses. Am I right, Selva? It's not here. The link houses.
Sorry, Silvana. Yes. So what I suggest is, it doesn't matter what we think. I think last night in the class also I talked about geo warehouse, and this question came up about some of the houses in Melbourne that were the link. Sorry, not the link. The portal is something new that came in recent. I don't know exactly when. I think a couple of years back only the portal system came. Before that, there are some houses in Melbourne that are like separate houses with portal, but they were listed as condos. So the discussion came up in the class last night, and I told the class, have something as a backup. Print out the geo warehouse or the impact notice and use that as your backup in case somebody complains against you. Whatever it says, use that to list it. So if a complaint comes, you say, this is my source document. This is what I used. So if I'm wrong, go and sue impact or go and sue geo warehouse. Don't come to me. I'm not responsible for that. I'm used that information. So that's the best use, I think.
Thanks, Selva. Gulsa, what you have to do, if you see the deed copy, that's going to show semi-detached anyway, as per my knowledge. But the Toronto Real Estate Board geo warehouse system, they put it back again link, back again the category as a link category. What will happen? Go with your own judgment. See the property. Most of the link we want to use it is underground link. If the property is attached underground, that's been underground basement or underground with pipelines, anything attached and become as a link property in mostly Markham houses, Markham and Seal houses. They are linked, but they look like a detached house. That you put it link. And there are some houses in McNichol Avenue. You can see they put link, but the garage completely touching each other. In that case, look like the semi-detached houses. In that case, use semi-detached. But I cannot tell you the answer 100%. Because the reason, we are not lawyers. We want to sell the property. We want to market as much we can to get the better clients and better price. In that case, I don't want to go too strict like lawyers and cut it off. This on my side, anybody just go and physically see the property. If you don't see any attachment outside, go as a link. If you see the garage touching each other or house touching up, you can touch something touching up, bedrooms touching up, something like that. Just put it in semi-detached and be safe aside. And even though you put it, you understand what I mean. Markham house, Markham and Seal is underground touching only. Then in that case, you can go for link rather than semi-detached.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I can't tell you the straightforward answer. If it's a straightforward answer, honestly, link system is not there. It's only semi-detached system there in the registry system. The lawyer's document is a semi-detached. Even Bellamy area, I see many houses. Is a real, nobody can identify. Even between the houses, even more than 3 feet wide. But it's a link houses.
Silvani, the main difference I think between a semi and a link is there's no party wall, because in the semi there is a party wall that separates the two units. In a link, they are independently separate units. There's no common wall between them other than a link through the garage or through the first floor or through the underground foundation. So that's the main difference, I think. So a link will look more like a detached.
I agree with you, but still lots of debate in this area, because I seen some link, the basement wall is attached. But we don't see outside. We don't see outside, even the Bellamy area. I don't shy to say it, guys. The first house I bought it as a link house. I talk about 96 stories. That house is a link house, but the basement wall is completely basement wall. The middle of the basement wall is both houses attached. That's become as a link because of the bylaw side. Because why the link? By the link, the builder not saving any money. Why the link? That particular area, the municipality doesn't allow to build a detached houses because they want the townhouses or semi-detached houses to make it more units affordable for the area. Some famous areas, they don't want the detached house to the permission to the builders. That's one of the main reason. There are so many reasons behind. As a salesperson, go for your sales. What is more attractive to the buyers and sellers, but at the same time, careful for the bylaws. That's what I would say. Okay, today's topic, guys, I sent the topic because of I want to teach something for you guys, but we did the clauses and the conditions we talk, but I just want to touch base on the clauses too. We have another 10 minutes time. Okay, for example, whatever say, for example, I just printed one APS form 100. When you please go ahead and read, please, I could say, even though you're an experienced agent, one day spend some time. Don't think the fine prints, you don't need it. Please go ahead and read the fine prints. What is there? 1, 2, 3 forms, whatever the clauses are there. And schedule be attached, schedule A, schedule B, schedule C, schedule D, based on the purpose. That's the one mostly we read. The fine prints we always think about, that's we have nothing to read about it, but not always. If the clients and educated clients come in, they will ask you to read. I know one of the salesperson was sold a house to one of the Bay Street lawyer. Both the lawyers, they asked the salesperson to go through each one of the clauses, the fine print clauses. Luckily, he knows. Otherwise, it's a problem. Take the print out and read everything clearly. And irrevocability. And one of the agent asked me under the irrevocability side is very important. He gave the offer. This is the question he asked me. He gave the offer and expired. The offer is expired. After 3 days, the seller sent back the same offer and changed the irrevocable time and irrevocable by who. And he called me and asked me that the seller agent sending me the offer after expiry date. I said, no, you can use it because you give the offer. When you give the offer, you write everything and offer by who? Buyer giving the offer to the seller. That's called revocable time and the person. After 3 days, the seller is giving you, you can use 2 vocabularies, a sign back, or else he is giving a new offer to you. The new offer Seller is giving to the buyer. That's legal. But the new offer, he changing the irrevocability time and irrevocable by who? In that case, even though after expired, when it's come to you, they gave it to you the offer. Now you're going to sign it within the time frame. Read those ones. That's important for the number one is the irrevocable time. Number two, the completion date. Completion date is important. They always mark 6 p.m. Even though the land registry closed at 5 p.m. Please read. Then you understand why the 6 p.m. is there. Land registry closed at 5 p.m. Just even though land registry closed at 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. lawyers have the rights. That's a 1 hour grace time. Lawyers have the rights. Between the lawyers send the money to other lawyer, and they both can undertake for the closing. In that case, the deal is valid. That's the reason they mark it here 6 p.m. on the completion date rather than 5 p.m. And number 3 is a notice category. What is the fax number and what is the email address we are delivering and everything there. That's mean this is for the electronic transfer. Even as long as the 12 p.m. is the deadline and office receive 9:59 p.m. and the fax number is there, or else you have home fax number. Receive the offer is valid. And understanding between the chattels and the fixtures. When you have free time, Google it. What is chattels? What is fixtures? Why they calling as a chattels and why they calling as a fixtures? Read those ones. And mostly basically what is plug-in is a chattel. What is fixed is fixed. Is under the fixed one is included. For example, fridge stove, washer dryer. Those are the furnace and equipments. Furnace equipments, very carefully see whether they own or the rental property. When is you listing as well as you making the offer. Verify, or else tell the lawyers to verify right away. And make sure if you are a listing agent, you are getting the list, you are getting the offer from different agent. Please verify the Schedule B. If the Schedule B is they're saying all the rental item and all the lease item are the buyer is taking over from the seller, in that case, you are safe. If you don't have that one, it's a problem. If you are making an offer from yourself to other companies, their Schedule B you're going to use, their Schedule B you're going to use, their Schedule B showing. Please read, because we are talking about one offer $20,000 fees commission. You can't ignore it. Please read. Then in that case, the Schedule B saying all the rental item and the lease item, buyer is taking over from the seller. Even though the furnace is a lease furnace, the hot water tank is leased. Talking about a furnace, talking about 5,000, and the tankless system is a regular system 5,000, and some companies charging 8,000. That's going to take over by the buyer. Who get the liable? You get the liable because you didn't read carefully for the Schedule B. Careful on those one and try to see the fixtures different between the fixtures and chattels. And I always remember when I teach this topic, Mark Vice Leader, whenever he came for our training, he said one of the recreational center, buyer and seller was selling it. They had an argument and everything. Seller remove all the light bulbs. Imagine for the basketball court or tennis court or anything, how is the lights are there? Very powerful, big lights, switch big lights, okay? That bulbs, the seller remove all the bulbs because they didn't include the bulbs in the chattels. That's worth 425,000. The reason they remove because of the argument. Legally, they file the case, nothing you can do because that's not was in the system. I'm just telling you, but I remember while I'm teaching you guys. The rental item, specify what is the rental items are. HSC side. HSC is one of the part as an agent. The regular resale property, there is no HST. Any new properties, anything new, residential, commercial, or anything new, HSC is an issue. But if we are dealing with the Airbnb rental property, guys, there are some gray areas coming up from the HSC side. Carefully work on those side, HST. But anyway, residential properties, HSC is included, is the one we are using it unless otherwise, the bank power of sales, even though power of sales, they don't know the nature of the property because they don't own the property. They are getting the power to sell. They always mark it other way around. Go ahead and read those ones. I just give you some examples, titles, and what's the other one I want to tell you guys? Go ahead and read it. If you don't find anything, ask me. The Family Act is there for the what do you call matrimonial rights. And if it is one person only own the property, one person owned the property. This question came a few weeks ago to me. I forgot to mention that one in the Zoom. One person on the property is a married, category is married. When we need to sign the spousal consent, offer, when you have an offer, you are the listing agent, you receive the offer. Your seller is only one person name is there, but the seller is married, other existing spouse is there. You get the offer. When are you going to sign the spousal consent? Very first time. Even though the prices come lower or higher or anything, very first time. Not the time you sign the confirmation of acceptance. Sometimes even the lawyer having some arguments, but based on the regulation, spousal consent supposed to sign very first time. Okay, very first time when you receive the offer. The spousal consent need to be signed. Confirmation side. Ask the spouse to initially to the safer side. That's it for today, guys. The difference between the clause and condition. Conditions need to be waived. Either buyer or seller. Seller can put the condition, buyer can put the condition. Seller condition, you can see it regular lease. We put the condition for the landlord condition. The landlord condition, landlord 3 days to satisfy himself. And regular anything come up, you have to waive it. Even though you do the lease and the schedule will be showing the landlord condition. If you don't waive it, that's null and void one day. Okay, make sure to lease. And if you are putting any condition, any clauses, you have to put what is the remedy. For example, you are saying the tenanted property, tenant supposed to move out the closing date. That's not valid under the category because tenant doesn't move out, still your condition is fulfilled. If you put it in, if the seller doesn't move out on the particular date, the seller buyer's lawyer have the rights to hold $10,000 or $15,000 in the sales price until the tenants move out. And the cost of tenants, moving the tenants cost or any damages pay by deduct by this particular money. Those are the things is help for the lawyers to argue with other lawyers or anything. And Mahesh, do you have anything to ask?
Salman, quick question. I saw one other listing other day. They say no schedule B on the brokerage remark. So in that situation, we don't need to worry about it anything? Or?
Don't worry about it. Mostly Schedule B is not important one. The company want to protect themselves. That's the reason Schedule B coming up. For example, you're giving the 20,000 deposit to other company. If they have a Schedule B, they are saying there is no deposit bearing account. If they have a Schedule B, they may put it in there no deposit bearing account. Any money less than 100,000 or 3 months closing or whatever. In that case, they are safe. Then there are no Schedule B. You are putting $20,000 and you are asking, can you give me the interest for the 20,000? The company going to be in trouble. That's the reason we are avoid that. But whatever Schedule B, that company's policy. You, for example, 24 hours notice for the deposit, and there are certain things. The CDA clauses. There's certain things they are putting it. If they don't have it, they don't have it. You don't need to worry.
Chalana, I have the same question for the deposit. Recently closed a deal. Worth $1.7 million deal, deposit 100,000. Deal closed in 3 months. So before the day before the deal closed, the buyer asked me, okay, so the deposit was in their account for 3 months. So am I going to get the interest for the deposit?
Deposit for the interest, Mohan, is very clear. If the company having a interest bearing account or no interest bearing account, one other thing. Second thing, if the law change, I believe is 2008, if the interest come less than $75, that company doesn't need to give the money to the buyer because the administration fees is very high. One of the time, any money they had to give out, before they give out, the buyer has to give the social insurance number and the company has to issue the T5 slip, and there are lots of procedures. Since I started 2022, I said that we are not following the interest bearing account. One of the in your side, the buyer has the rights to ask that you can see the Schedule B they're running in the interest bearing account or not. It's a very good question you asked me, Mohan. But the problem is for the listing brokerage. The problem for myself, I never run that the interest bearing account. The main reason, RICO audit is one of the main reason. If we are running the interest bearing account, there's somebody's money. I'm getting the somebody's interest. The way it's supposed to work is good for, even though you can spend another 2 minutes. If I receive the $10,000 deposit, I put it in the trust account. That money is supposed to be the trust account. If I move the interest bearing account, I have to get a GIC certificate. That GIC certificate, we had to have it for the temporary GIC, 30 days GIC certificate. The day of the closing, I had to request the bank and the GIC certificate, we had to redeem it and get the 100,000 plus $7 interest. The bank interest was lower for our last 10 years. Bank interest was very low. We all know that one. Then the 100,000 plus $7 interest, we are getting it. In that case, that interest go as a profit to the company. We have to transfer it from the trust account to the general account. If the interest is more than $75, we had to get the SIN number from the clan and we had to issue the T5 slip. That particular clan supposed to report it as an income. The work for the office is huge. In that case, I don't run it. In your side, just tell the clients they are not running the interest bearing account. That's it.
Yeah, I already convinced him that, but his argument was a large amount of deposit and someone benefiting from his money. But anyway, I answered the question to him and convinced him in a way that he said, okay. But it is a valid question that I never got from any buyer. Sometimes you get this question, then it's like, okay, what do I say?
Safe aside, ask the agent if you have the bigger deposit, 100 or more, are you running the interest bearing account? Yes or no? If they run it, write it down. There is, if you think those kind of clients, there is no interest bearing account from the other company, and put in the writing for the Schedule B. Tell them to put in the Schedule B as a no interest bearing account. We already put it in our Schedule B, no interest bearing account. Now we stopped that one because the interest rate is very low. Now it's coming back again. Okay. Tell them the listing company, if they are running the interest bearing account, if they receive the interest only, they have to give it to the clients. If they don't receive the interest, they don't need to give the clients.
Thank you, Silvana.
Okay, guys, that's very good question. Who participated, I'm very really appreciate for the participation. So all valid questions are here. Thank you so much. We can meet next week with a good energy. Guys, last week of summer, enjoy as well as make money. Thank you.
ARASA Ride Sharing Company ARASA.ca என்ற இணையதளத்துக்கு சென்று The ARASA Drivers ஆப்பினை டவுன்லோட் செய்து டிரைவர்ஸாக வேலை வாய்ப்பை பெறுங்கள். மாதாந்தம் $4,000 வரை சம்பாதியுங்கள். வணிக நிறுவனங்கள் ARASA இணையதளத்தின் மூலம் மளிகை பொருட்கள் மற்றும் உணவுப் பொருட்களை விற்பதோடு வாடிக்கையாளர்களுக்கு டெலிவரி செய்யலாம். தமிழில் தகவல்களை அறியாளையுங்கள். GTA பற்றி 40 ஆண்டுகள் அறிந்து கொண்டவரும் வீடு விற்பனை துறை ஊடாக மக்களால் அறியப்பட்டவருமான சிவா பிள்ளை 416-854-0005. Taxi broker licensed by City of Toronto.